So to preface this, this was a game where I'm surviving, and naturally nobody got hooked. This basically was a match against a skull merchant, and the thing of it is that all I did was end up getting in chase first. I knew when to drop pallets. She couldn't catch me for like 3 to 4 minutes. The gens were like going. And at some point, the chase took place at Shack, where I basically led her there. The thing is, I guess she didn't like that she couldn't catch me and that I dropped Shack just as, we were at 5 gens. And the thing of it is, the gens were getting done. I was just moving around, and then all of a sudden, she starts hard tunneling me. Like, I mean hard tunneling me. Like, a gen wasn't even really completed, but about 3 of them were almost complete. I would continue running her for a bit, and then she downs me at some point because, I'm trying not to interrupt the gen, but apparently she had sights only for me, so it wasn't really a concern. I go down at pallet in the middle of the map somewhere, like close towards the exit gate. And she had me sitting there for a while. Like, she just stood there, and the others were trying to finish gens, get me back up, finish gens, get me back up. And one of the funny parts about it was that even though I was under pallet multiple times, when Dwight would try to slam the pallet in her face to get me back up, I would always end up on the opposite side where he was. So he wasn't able to do much about it. It was just a killer stun and nothing more. And later on, at that point, this went on for about a good 3 to 4 minutes, and the same thing just kept happening. But eventually the gate got opened because, the gens flew pretty quickly because basically the skull merchant didn't go anywhere. Now, I was on the ground for about just as long as I was in chase, pretty much. And so when I realized that this wasn't going to go anywhere, I decided to start moving before I bled out. Now, I did ultimately get out because I managed to bait this killer into thinking I was going to the other gate while Dwight used his scratch marks to misdirect. And I ended up coming back and exiting through the gate. So I'm thinking, holy cow, this is, wild. I didn't think I'd have someone have a grudge against me just for running and surviving. And then ensues this conversation where no one is being toxic, no one teabagged. In fact, the only one possibly being toxic was the skull merchant at this time. I said, hey, I still love that skin. Thank you, for, Dwight, basically, for picking me up at that last moment that allowed me to escape anyway. I was about to force her to pick me up because then that way there could have been a flashlight save or something. Everyone was injured, so there wasn't much they could do. And he's like, don't care, should have just freaking left. And basically, sorry, everyone goes, GG's. You got Dwight here going like, what's going on? And Rebecca's like, calm down. And then Shack at 5 is fine in some situations. And yeah, it was fine in my situation because everyone else was doing gens. No one had any reason to be over there. And ultimately, if she's chasing me, it wouldn't have mattered. You know what I mean? And this individual was upset that I was pre-dropping every pallet. That's actually not the case. I did not pre-drop. In fact, I looped around and then dropped in her face before she could hit me the first time when I suspected she was about to hit me. My intent is to get better at chase. And so one of the things that can really help is to basically ensure that I'm not taking a hit earlier than I need to. Especially since if I'm injured, I'm going to be grunting a lot. So Shack at 5 is fine. Pre-drop Shack at every other pallet. And the truth of the matter is I really didn't drop that many pallets. That was the entire point of me looping them. It was that way I could continue to do so. She kept trying to mind game, and I would drop the pallet whenever she got too close. This is possibly why she got so upset about it. Okay, so no, it isn't. Never. You queued up as a skull. You made your bed. Lie in it. It was a 4 outs, and he's right. Because ultimately, by focusing on me so much in such a spiteful way, instead of just hooking, you lost all map pressure. Everyone knew where you were, and they could finish a gen right next to you without having to care, right? There is no reason for this. Okay, enjoy the dirt. And this is when I started realizing that this was done to me out of spite. I was like, yo, hold on. All I did was run you. Enjoy the dirt all match 4 out. And he said, did it work though? That's a good question. It really didn't. Apparently they shifted their gears to just getting me out or getting me killed by bleeding me out on the floor. And I was like, huh? What is going on? Dwight says, you're the one mad, bro. Enjoy the Daryl match. No one was toxic. Enjoy eating sand. I'm like, everyone said GG. Just keep crying. It says Dwight. And I said, I'm confused, even though I misspelled. Did nothing but eat sand. And then Dwight goes, for no reason. K don't care. And then Rebecca chimes in saying, you failed to slug and get one person killed when all of us were injured. Reflect. Okay. Dwight affirms. The Skull Merchant goes, who cares? You were eating pallets and missed M1s, and all I'm doing is running. That's basically it. That's the reason why I didn't have to drop that many pallets. She kept missing. She kept trying to mind game. So what I would do is I would go around to the pallet. If I felt like I was losing distance, I would go to the next one, and then she's still trying to catch up. So guess what? I drop pallet before she can get to me. So it's like, I don't know, I guess this killer took offense to that? I'm like, there's no reason for that. You're a Skull Merchant. You have tools. I've seen one Skull Merchant, even with that one window, just change its trajectory multiple times to basically get me trapped and then hit me with the hinder. That was a good one. That forced it so that way I couldn't go anywhere except back to the pallet. This one didn't really do that. And it said, who cares? No one hope. Who cares? No one. Hope you enjoyed 10 minutes of laying down. It really wasn't 10 minutes. I was on the ground for like 3 minutes because the gens were flying. And then I did get picked up once, but Dwight didn't do it correctly. She went around and then downed me. So yeah, that kind of happened. I got to make you sit on your belly for 20 minutes. It really wasn't 20 minutes. I won. Nah, I'm saying gens gone done. That was me trying to say the gens did get done, though. That was not 20 minutes, says Dwight, but sure. So I guess you got to do nothing. I did. I was like, the entire time I was doing the most fun thing you could do as a survivor. Be in chase, last long in chase, buy time for your team. As much as I would do like, being sneaky and being on the gens, being in chase is actually the most interesting part of being a survivor, in my opinion. It's just that I don't think I'm all that good to do it just quite yet. I've gotten better because I play this game casually, but, we had a marathon together because that's basically what happened. And I got to escape, but lay there like the B frag you are. So basically trying to call me a slur. Honestly, I ain't even offended by that. For it ain't nothing to me. But this just shows how mad the Skull Merchant is. That was more than something. You being that mad that you need to slug means they won the game already. Not really, 0 BP. I'm sitting here like, that's not true. We all brought offerings and I'm sitting at over 1 million, even though I just splurged on a blood web just moments ago. Still got probably 200K. Nope. Because I actually did over 6 million now. That was me when I was actually trying to do the thing. It's not 6 million, obviously. But I was over that because of the bonus. Not that serious. At 5 mil. I'm talking about at 5 mil. He's probably trying to say that it caps at 5 mil. And this is true, but you can actually go higher. I had 16 million because the bonus points was stacked. I didn't spend for a while because I just didn't. He tried to call me, you're just a fat liar. Enjoy the dirt. Why do you have to TikTok DBD in your name? I was like, I don't need to lie about it. You can actually go above the 5 BP. So this is someone that probably doesn't play the game often. But you can get it because I've had it before. And I remember one time you can get over 300K in a single match. But it would cap out at 5, and then what would happen is I would log in and then constantly do the bonuses, and you get the bonuses from the challenges you complete. You can easily break 10 million, basically. You can easily break 10 million. You can go on Twitch and you'll see some players with over 10 million sometimes. It just depends on why they have it. Like, obviously there's a TikTok name there, just sad. I didn't think surviving made someone so mad, though, because I'm just trying to get better in chase, yes. Then learn to fucking loop. I'm like, yeah, I did. You couldn't catch me for the longest time. That's a loop. You kept missing M1s. That's me looping. It was like, don't throw 30 pallets at Shack at 5. I'm sitting here like, what are you talking about? I didn't even go anywhere else on the map. We were on the Shack side and the right side of main, and I kept going back and forth between them. I didn't go all over the map. And between that's maybe only 10 pallets at most, and I probably only dropped like 4 or 5. It's like you didn't, and I think Dwight backed up here. He was like, you didn't down there for like 3 minutes or something and call it. So you just wanted me to let you hit me first, which is what I think this killer wanted me to do. It doesn't matter if they throw a lot of pallets if gens are getting done. And this is true. Game progress matters. If no gens are being done, dropping too many pallets too soon is a problem. Okay? Because she was busy blowing all but 4 pallets on the map. What are you talking about? I didn't go anywhere else. I really didn't go anywhere else. And obviously, because of the salt that this. Oh man, just I just want people to just remember to chill out. It's just a game. I've had horrible losses before, but this is the first time I've ever actually had to sit here and argue with someone. Like I admit, I'll say it right here. Even though this was true earlier, it's not true now. So obviously it's a bit of a lie. I'll call that out, no problem. But like I said, I had over like 16 million before I started splurging. That's how I got Jill to 79. Basically, you can do it over and over again. Get the bonuses from the daily bonus login, all that other stuff. You guys know at this point. And then I was gonna say, hey, you could have dropped Chase at any time, and you probably wouldn't have been so salty chasing someone else. I just wanted to make this little thing because I think it was the funniest thing ever. I didn't think it was possible, and in calling me, a loser or whatever, I don't think that's necessary. No one was being toxic. I don't even think anyone teabagged. I may have crouched the most, but that was because I was evading the detection rays of the skull merchant drones. So it wasn't no teabagging or anything. But anyway, thanks for stopping by. I didn't mean to take up like 10 minutes of this stuff, but y'all have a good one.